5 of the, and you, I'm sorry, 6.
7, right?
And you'll have to move Brandon up to Mr. Drulis' spot.
Okay. Let's move Brandon up then. Okay, so let's call the meeting to order for October 26th. Notice of this meeting was given by sending sufficient notice herewith to the Home News Tribune, the Asbury Park Press, and the Jersey Journal, by filing advance. I lost my page here. Oh no. Okay. By filing advance written notice of the meeting with the clerk and or administrator of each member and posting a copy of the meeting on the public bulletin board of all members. I direct the secretary to enter into the minutes of this meeting, the advance written notice of this meeting and this statement. Can I get a roll call, please?
Paul Clark. Paul Clark,
I'm sorry, I'm here.
He's here.
Mike Osika,
Here.
Mike Capianco,
Here.
Joe Zenga,
Here.
Harry Delgado,
Here.
Michael Julis,
Traded.
Yep.
Brandon's here in
I'm
place.
okay, Brandon Goldberg,
Here.
Jeanette Larison,
Here.
Joe Monzo,
Here.
Leon Sokol,
Here.
Donna Setzer,
Here.
Scott Recant,
Here.
Jimmy Gote,
Here.
Sean Walsh,
Walsh,
I'm sorry.
he's here.
Anyone else I missed?
Just admitted James Brady. And hold on. Who's just coming in at 993-969?
Charlie Cradaville.
Thanks, Charlie.
So Charlie's on twice?
Yeah, video and voice.
You also have Charlie Cradaville, William Northgrave, Patty Fahey, Robin Rassiopi I saw come in.
Yep.
I believe that's everybody, Chair. If you want to move, officially move Brandon up during the meeting, so.
Okay. Do we need to take formal action on that? I don't
No,
remember.
that's your
Yeah.
point.
Okay, so yes, so then we'll move Brandon up in the absence of Michael Drulis. And in the packet, you received minutes from the July 27th meeting. So I'm looking for a motion and a second to approve those.
Motion, Joe.
Do we have a second?
I'll make a second.
Paul
Okay.
Clark,
Yes.
Michael Sika,
Yes.
Mike Capabianco,
Yes.
Joe Zenga,
Yes.
Harry Delgado,
Yes, but I abstained from the minutes of July 27.
okay, Brandon Goldberg,
Abstain.
Jeanette Larison.
Yes. Okay, moving on to the administrator's report.
Yes, the Amboy National Bank Finance, a total of $978,484.38. Freehold savings, 5,245, and Roosevelt savings, 26,944, for a total of 1,010,513. You have a copy of the loss runs as of October. Claims of 33,572,951, a claim budget of 27,201,564, and excess insurance of 26,018,495, for which we have a claim in of close to $5 million. We collected $1 million and expect to very shortly. And that's my report, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Okay, moving forward to managed care. Donna, do you have?
Yes, I do. Thank you. For the month of September, we had 127 bills. Only 2 were out of network, giving us 98% network penetration. The total charges were $249,291.38. They were repriced to pay $66,726.69, which is a savings of 73% from charges. There were 20 injuries that were called in, all 20 required treatment. If there's any questions on the rest of the report, I'll be happy to answer. Otherwise, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for QualCare? Okay, moving on to
Thank-
safety. I'm sorry. Okay. Moving on
No,
to
I was just
safety.
saying thank you.
No, thank you. Moving on to safety and loss control. Mr. Goetz.
Yes, Chair, in the package for the month of October are the claim reports that we submit monthly, all new claims reported since the September meeting. Again, sort of by member, by coverage. All claims we have since closed off the system, as well as files we are currently pursuing third-party subrogation recoveries against on your behalf. And then the 2 reports behind it with respects to general claim recoveries on the general system of $8,358,432, as well as workers' comp claims of $3,259,244. I also have Mr. Gote here to give an update with respect to what's going on with the right to know and safety training.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just want to make you aware that we had a recent meeting with PIOSH, and as they begin to come back from the COVID-19 issues that they've had, basically where they were non-functional, they're coming out with some new things that I thought it might be useful for you to know. They will be stressing 3 particular relatively new standards: process safety management, which means, for example, if you have a wastewater treatment plant or something like that, and you bring a new process on board, they expect you to work out the kinks as far as employee protection, environmental protection, whatever is needed before you initiate the process, so that the idea of learning on the job is something that they're not going to be supporting very much. The second thing that they talked a lot about was lead reduction in the workplace. They would like to see people have any kind of lead paint or anything. And you can actually throw asbestos in there, but they were really mainly focused on lead. They like to see people develop some kind of a program where you're going to eliminate that potential employee exposure. The third item on this they really harped on a lot is heat-related illness. They're having a significant amount of heat-related illnesses throughout the country. 43 people died, 2,410 suffered serious injuries and illnesses in the last quarter, and they feel that it's grossly underreported. It's not just summertime, they're also concerned about wintertime. For example, if you have people going in a manhole or something in the middle of winter, and they're dressed for the weather outside, the manhole may not be that temperature that you have outside, and the people overheat, and as a result, it leads to other problems. And the final thing that they brought up is that they are adopting the new OSHA severe enforcement program, where OSHA has significantly raised the penalty for the penalty amounts for serious violations and whatnot. It used to be that the minimum penalty that you would see from New Jersey for a minimum, the minimum for a serious violation would be 2,000, 2,500. Now it's gearing more towards the $5,000 range. And the things that we have noticed in among our clients and whatever that they're stressing, which they haven't really done so much in the past, is the walking, working surfaces standard violations, basically floor surface, things on the floor, the floor is cracked, whatever. In fire stations, for example, where the fire trucks may go in and out, and the flooring is not, smooth and whatever. And they're not really being very sympathetic about any of that. They're handing out penalties, 5,000 a day, like going out of style. Two other things that I'd like to point out is the JIF has issued and has still the emergency action plan and fire prevention plan, as well as a hazard communications program that we created over the last couple of years. Those are three things that they will be targeting. So you may want to take a look at your various programs and make sure that they're recent. People ask how often should they be? The answer from PIASH is regular. You may want to take a look at it. Update it after you look at it. Take whatever date it is that you used it. If you're going to change a name on it due to a contact or something else, then use that new date, and that will get them off your back. But the emergency action plan, fire prevention plan, and the hazard communications program are available from Glenn, and they've been distributed in the past to the members. I would suggest that in case you have some new staff that they determine where it is, you want to have this information readily available when they show up. The less time they spend at your place, the better it will be. Any questions? That concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, moving on to finance report, Mr. Monzo.
Thank you. Last evening, I sent to Glenn the October report. I'm assuming he sent it around to the commissioners. There's not very much there. There's not very much change from the prior month, other than the claims that we might have incurred during the month of October since the last meeting, and the administrative expenses that you're going to approve later this meeting. In terms of the revenue, there's been no change. All the 2022 assessments had already been current. We still have an expectation to try to recover some of the 2021 supplemental assessments that are still outstanding, that we've been talking about for the past several months. And since the board approved the deficit assessment resolution, we've collected two payments, Millstone and South River. We haven't received any others to date. I know Glenn's going to speak later about that issue in terms of, and I think Scott is too, in terms of actions and letters that were sent out. But in terms of the finances, and you also have a copy of my cash flow analysis through the end of the year. Again, it's all related to assumptions, right? We're assuming certain collections for the deficit assessment, large billing through the end of the year. If we don't get them, then we're going to have a cash problem. We're not assuming at this point any of the 21 assessments that are still outstanding, like from the MCUA or East Windsor. We took those assumptions out. So at this point, we're 2 months out. Still have a couple months to get some of that revenue in. I know we have some other expectations for some excess recoveries, but
I just got word, Joe, on a excess. They're cutting a check for 275 that we should get this week.
275,000.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Very, that's helpful. That puts us, well over $500,000 expectation, close to, I think, over 600,000. Again, with other assumptions, right? So maybe Scott and Glenn, when they get around to talking about that on the agenda, it may or may not give you some further comfort. That's my report to date, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions about the report? Okay, do we have any old business?
Only, Chair, as a follow-up to our previous discussion, starting the RFQ process, I'll be meeting with the professional committee to go over the RFQ process for next year, and getting the advertisements out and and a expected return date on that. So I expect to be meeting with them probably within the next 2 to 3 days. So
Okay. Do we have any new business? Looks like we do. Resolution. Taken.
Yes, Chair, in the packets, we attached a resolution. As you know, we've been working with the DOBI with respects to the JIF. When we approved the DOBI exam as well as the regular JIF audit, it was done via roll call vote and discussing with our attorneys, and I don't know if Scott or Leon want to chime in. It was suggested that we do a ratifying resolution with respects to the action that was previously taken at those 2 board meetings. So there's a resolution before the board to ratify the roll call vote that was taken.
Okay, so I guess we'll need a motion and a second to, as you said, ratify the action taken for the exam and the audit for the cash flow. So do we have one?
I'll move it.
Motion, Joe.
Second, Harry.
Paul Clark,
Yes.
Michael Sika,
Yes.
Mike Capabianco,
Yes.
Joseph Zillinger,
Yes.
Harry Delgado,
Yes.
Brandon Goldberg,
Yes.
Jeanette Larison.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any other new business?
The only other new business, Chair, we had cash flow on there, which Joe already touched upon. I've been discussing, Joe, with doing projections out into 2023. Naturally, that's going to require some additional assumptions as well, which after this meeting, I intend to sit with him as to projected claims per the actuary for 2023, as well as projected revenue to get that done. But we expect to do a cash flow analysis out at least till July 1 of 2023. So he did already touch on it through the end of the year, but I'd like to project it out even further.
Glenn, I have a question. Do we expect to have an adopted budget for 23 before the end of the year that the commissioners are going to vote on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
It will be introduced at the November meeting, Joe, and adopted formally at the December meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anything else? Okay, audience comments. Is there anyone from the audience that wishes to speak?
Yeah, Charlie Cradaville, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. So yeah, Charlie Cradaville, editor of New Brunswick Today, continuing to look into the situation with the JIF and the deficit. Is there a updated figure on the amount of the deficit? Last I had was 27 million, but it sounds like there have been some payments so far against it.
Yes, Charlie, the deficit itself is the 27 million that was approved in the budget. We started to receive payments in from a couple of members, and we expect them to, we've had commitments for payments coming in November. So it is a floating number that once Joe gets the cash receipts in, he will update the bottom line deficit. But we have received a couple payments in.
So what would it be fair to say the deficit is as of today? Is it 26 and change, or?
Off the top of my head, it'd probably be Joe, what did we get in, about 300,000?
We'll look on that report. That we got 2 payments, and we got 1 payment from Milltown and 1 payment from South River. I mean,
Yeah,
Milltown was 25% of their number, and South River was 10%. So, I mean, they're not significant in terms of against the $27 million number, Charlie. So they were about 400 and some thousand dollars in total. So the number's still
Okay.
in the $27 million range. And that's still, just for clarification, that's still the deficit. So the language that I would use now is what's the receivable? Because the deficit is going to remain the deficit until the next actual report and the next audit. So that's always going to be the deficit until it gets audited, right? So to pose the question, I would ask, what's the current receivable against the deficit that was billed?
Got it. Okay. Well, thank you.
Okay.
Another concern I have is the excess liability. It's my understanding the Mel JIF has sent some kind of notice of non-renewal that your membership in the Mel would come to an end December 31st. What is the JIF's plan for replacing them, or has something changed?
We are working with several brokers right now to come up with a quote. They have the information that they need, and they said they will get back to me in a couple of weeks.
Okay. So just to clarify, the Mel is out of the picture December 31st. You're looking to find someone new.
Yes.
We are exploring all alternatives, Charlie.
Thank you. And just finally, I wanted to raise two issues with the city of New Brunswick. We have here, I was deeply troubled and frankly appalled to hear these allegations come to the fore at municipal council meetings, but I'm really concerned because the Department of Public Works here has had, for a period of time in the summer, children too young to be working on the back of garbage trucks doing sanitation work. Ages 16 and 17, it's my understanding they're not allowed to do work on vehicles driving around public roads if they're on the outside of the vehicle, but that was the case. That was really alarming. And, when I hear about, like PIOSH being mentioned on this call, I'd like to raise to your attention that I've raised these concerns to PIOSH, and I think that there is an active investigation into that. So I wanted to bring that to this board's attention, and also really troubling allegations that I know are under investigation currently by the DEP and the MCUA, that on February 2nd, 2021, Department of Public Works employees were asked to pick up regulated medical waste from Robert Wood Johnson Hospital and haul it illegally, dump it illegally in the Middlesex County landfill. Concerned about this for a number of reasons. Obviously, the health and safety of the workers. Of course, also the fact that you're not supposed to be dumping that stuff in the county landfill. And, finally, the liability. Obviously, this is the insurance for the city is, this is a bad liability. This is something that folks should be told can't be done, shouldn't be done. I have photo and video evidence that this was done. I've raised it to appropriate authorities, and it's my understanding there's an active investigation into it. So I wanted to also bring it to this board's attention. And, unfortunately, it's part of a pattern of the city of New Brunswick flouting rules and laws that are meant to keep their workers safe and meant to keep the public safe. And unfortunately, powerful institutions like Robert Wood Johnson apparently can call in a favor to City Hall and get the city to break the law, risk serious liability and risk the health and welfare of the people of Middlesex County. So I wanted to bring this to your attention as the insuring entity, and don't want to ever see anything like this happen again. I don't know what this board can do to the extent having policies can help or having training can help, but frankly, the city of New Brunswick is out of control and needs to be reined in. And I'll continue to hold folks accountable for things that I learn about, and do what I can to raise it to the proper authority. So I did want to put this on your radar as well, and I thank you for hearing me out and answering my questions today, and hope everybody has a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you.
We'll
for
certainly
bringing
look
that
into that, Charlie. Thank you.
Any other audience comments?
Hi, this is Patty Fay. I'm just questioning the status of the 2021 audit.
Patty, it is underway. I can report that a rough draft of the financials has been provided to DOBI. She is working on all the back schedules, so I should be able to circulate that shortly, but we were under a gun to get at least a rough draft down to DOBI, which they have. So as soon as I get the backup, I will certainly circulate to everybody.
Thank you. Do you think you'll have it by the November meeting?
Absolutely.
I absolutely believe so, although it's moved up. I don't know, what is that, the 17th or 16th? But yeah, I would think it's at least 2 weeks out, so,
When's the, Glenn, can you hear me?
yeah.
When's the November meeting?
I think we might have moved it up, didn't we?
To
I
the
think it's
16th?
November 16th.
That's the Wednesday of the League of Municipalities.
Mm-hmm.
So we might have to,
I mean, I don't know if the chair's going or, Joe Zenga's going. Not everybody on this call is a CFO, unfortunately. Michael might be going, I'm going. I know the 23rd is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. But
Yeah,
what
I was,
did we do last year?
I don't know, I was planning on making myself available for it, whether I go or
Okay.
not,
Well,
whether I
wanted
go
to-
or
I just
not.
wanted
'Cause
to
since
bring
we
it-
do it, since it's like an
Remote
hour.
anyhow, right?
Yeah,
That's true, right? So
yeah.
I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
Mhm.
And I don't remember what we did last year. To tell you the truth.
I
So,
don't recall either.
if you want, I'll circulate an email to everybody with respects to their availability, and then if we need to make a change, I'll
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, Jeanette's point is good. We're remote anyhow. We're all going to have some sort of electronic device at the meeting. We can always just, use
Yeah.
that device to log in. Yep. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, then we have the bills list.
I'll
for
make a
today.
motion, Joe.
Thank you. Do we have a
Second.
second?
Second, Brandon.
Oh, Brandon,
Brandon, second.
Brandon,
Paul Clark,
Yes.
Michael Sika,
Yes.
Mike Capabianco,
Yes.
Joe Zenga,
Yes.
Harry Delgado,
yes.
Brandon Goldberg,
Yes.
Jeanette Larison.
Yes. Okay, next we have a closed session. So I don't know how, how we want to handle this. We have both claims to review and a discussion about possible litigation. So I don't, is there people we want in and don't want in? Should we do the claims first?
I would do the claims first.
Okay, so I need a motion to go into executive session
I'll move it.
or closed session.
Second, Joe.
Paul Clark,
Yes.
Michael Sika,
Yes.
Mike Capabianco,
Yes.
Joe Zenga,
Yes.
Harry Delgado,
Yes.
Brandon Goldberg,
Yes.
Jeanette Larison.
Yes.
all right.
May I ask if there'll be any action other than the usual?
I don't believe we'll actually take any formal action outside. Do you expect any, Leon?
There's possibly one item that could require action when we come out.
Okay.
That I want to talk to the commissioners about in closed session.
Okay. You want to go back into the waiting room, Charlie?
Yeah, if you can, put both of my accounts here into the waiting room. Or actually, I'll
Oh.
Lost you, sorry.
And Charlie, we could call you with it. It's not going to be a great moment, but it's something that we can contact you after the meeting, so that and fill you in as to if it gets done, why it got done.
You don't have to hang around, but it's up to you.